No, don't worry. You guys are not on the video. One student was absent, and she asked me to make a video, so I'm making a recording for the absent student. So today is our syntax day. Bring out syntax material. Yes. 서영문. We have 서영문. Where is 서영문? So, how are you this afternoon? How are you? Oh, Soyoung feeling very good. Great, great. I'm happy. Soyoung is doing good. So, could you tell us what makes you feel good this afternoon, Soyoung? Lunch was delicious. What was today's menu, Soyoung? What was it? Oh, odeng. You like odeng? Good, good. So please, tell us about your weekend. What did you do over the weekend, please?
I watched drama.
Oh, you watch drama. Great, great. Is there any interesting drama nowadays? Is there any popular, interesting drama on TV nowadays? Which drama did you watch, Soyoung? Oh, 도깨비. 도깨비 is quite an old drama. Oh, you like 도깨비? Oh, why? Why you like 도깨비?
I like Kim.
Oh, you like 김고은. Oh, 김고은 is your favorite actress? Oh, good, good. So you have same hairstyle with Goon? No? Good, thank you. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you. So let's do a little bit of a review. Okay, so last time I introduced the concept of word class. So here in this book, we are going to use old system. We are going to use old system of word class in ancient Greek grammarians. Ancient Greek grammarians, they divided the word into 8 groups. So we will be using that concept of 8 word classes or 8 part of speeches. So we have noun, preposition, determinative, adverb, adjective, conjunction, verb, and directions. And we start talking about noun class first. Okay? So noun is a word that denotes a people, animals, things, and places. So we call this as a notional definition. Yes, does anyone remember what does notional means? Oh, good. Exactly. Thank you. Yes. Good. Thank you. Good job. So notional definition, when we try to group noun into the category, we use concept or meaning of certain word and try to divide noun into these groups. However, this notional definition has quite serious problem. So let's do a little bit of a review. Page 26. Page 26. First sentence. First sentence. A problem with a notional definition. Right. So a problem with the notional definition of noun is that it leaves a great number of words unaccounted for, which could also be said to belong to the class of noun, but which do not denote people, animal, things, or places. Did everyone find the sentence? Yeah. Everyone knows where we are? Okay, good. Yes, okay. So problem of notional definition is there are certain nouns. There are certain nouns like sincerity, success, happiness, love, dizziness, and pain. They are all nouns. Okay? However, under this system, under this notional definition, we cannot say these are the noun words because they don't belong to any of these categories. So the problem of notional definition is there are so many nouns that you cannot explain with using only a notional definition so far. That's a very serious problem. Okay? Next person, please. So these include words that denote abstract ideas or concepts. For example, sincerity, success, and emotional state. For example, happiness and love, and bodily sensations. For example, dizziness and pain, and a host of others. So these vocabulary, like abstract ideas and emotional words and bodily sensations, these words cannot be noun because they don't belong to any of these concepts here. Okay, and next person, please.
Of course, we could keep on extending our notional definition in such a way that eventually all these words would be incorporated into the class of nouns.
Right. So of course, we could keep on extending our notional definition in such a way that eventually all these words would be incorporated into the class of nouns. So we can solve this problem. We can make this noun be included in the noun by adding more concept, by extending more concept here. We can solve the problem and we can include these nouns into the noun group as well. But this is not an efficient solution. This is not an effective practical solution. Okay? And next person, please.
However, our definition would then become so strict and vague that we would end up with little more than a list of nouns.
Right. However, our definition then becomes so stretched and vague that we'd end up with a little more than a list of nouns. So if we just keep on adding, if we keep on adding concept here, we only have a list of long word, which is not practical, which is not efficient way of defining nouns. Okay? And next person, please.
It should be obvious that a list cannot serve as a definition of the concept noun.
So it should be obvious that a list cannot serve as a definition of concept nouns. So clearly, just having a list cannot work as a proper definition of noun. Okay? And
Why not?
one more.
Therefore, list are very interesting by themselves.
Right. So why not? So my student might ask, oh, why? Professor, why? Why just having a list cannot be a solution of a noun definition? You might ask why. So that's very good question. So, well, for one, lists are seldom very interesting by themselves. The reason why list cannot work as a proper definition is it's not interesting. It's boring. Just having a list for a noun definition, it's very boring, not interesting way of defining a noun area. That's first reason. And
What we would want to know is why a particular item is on a list together with other items and why other items are not on the list.
And what we want to know is why a particular item is on a list together with other items and why other items are not on the list. So here, Secondly, the reason why just having a list cannot function as a proper noun definition is what we want to know. What we want to know is why words like sincerity, success, happiness, love, disease, and pain, why they can function as a noun. At the same time, words like hot, eat, and throw, why these words, hot, eat, throw, why they are not nouns. Could you give us an explanation why hot, eat, through they are not nouns and only words like sincerity, success, happiness, love, disease, and pain? Could you explain why these words belong to noun classes? Just having a list cannot give us explanation why they don't belong to noun whereas they belong to noun. We need an explanation. To make an explanation, we just need more than a list of concepts for noun definition. Okay? And next person, please.
In the case of nouns, we would want to know why all the italicized words above are on the list of nouns, but not say hot, eat, or through.
So in the case of noun, we would want to know why all those italicized words above are on the list of noun, but not say hot, eat, or through. So again, so what we want to know is all these italicized words in the paper, like sincerity, success, happiness, love, disease, and pain, they belong to noun. Why? Could you explain why they belong to noun classes? And hot, eat, and throw, what could you explain why they don't belong to noun classes? What we need is an explanation. So we need more than just having a list of concepts in noun definition side here. Okay? And
The problem with these then is that they have no explanatory value.
right, so the problem with the list then is that they have no explanatory value. So having just a list of concepts in the noun definition, they cannot explain why. Okay, so we need more than just a list here. Okay, and next person, please.
A related serious problem is that they make circular reasoning.
Continue.
Why is car a noun?
Continue. Go on.
Because it is on the list of nouns.
Continue.
Why it is on the list?
Continue.
Because it's a noun.
Good. So a related serious problem with the list is that they lead to a circular reasoning. Another problem we need more than the list on the noun definition is having just a list of concept in noun definition, it lead us to a circular reasoning. It doesn't provide any answer. It only leads us to circular reasoning. For example, when we ask why, for example, you can say, why is a car a noun? And say, because it's on the list of noun. Okay, as you can see here, things. Things are referred to as a noun. So that's why car is a noun, because it's on the list. And why is it on the list? Okay, then why is things on the list of noun? Because it's a noun. It's a list of noun. So having a list just make us go on and circular reasoning. It doesn't answer our question, why car belongs to noun. It doesn't answer any questions. Okay? So that is the problem of just having a list on the noun definition. And next person.
This gives us
Right. So this gets us nowhere. So having a list, it doesn't answer our question. It doesn't solve our problem. Just lead us to circular reasoning instead. Okay. A far better approach.
a far better approach is to characterize nouns using formal and distributional criteria.
Right. So a far better approach is to characterize noun using formal and distributional criteria. Can I erase this? Is it okay? Okay, good. So from now on, in order to define noun, we're going to use two criteria at the same time. We're going to use formal criteria and we will be using distributional criteria in order to define noun classes. Okay? And next person, please.
From this viewpoint, we look at the shape words can take, where they can occur in sentences, and the way they behave and function in sentential pattern.
So from this viewpoint, we look at the shape word we can take, where they can occur in sentences, and the way they behave and function in sentential patterns. So in order to define noun, we will take a look at the form. Also, we'll take a look at the distribution criteria. So in other words, we'll try to take a look at the shape. What kind of shape does the word have to become a noun? Also, what kind of syntactic pattern? How does word behave in the sentence? What kind of pattern does the word have in the sentence? We will also take a look at those distributional criteria to define noun classes. Okay? And next person, please.
Let's see how this works by discussing a few examples.
Right, so let's see how this works by discussing a few examples. So by taking a look at example, we'll talk about formal and distributional criteria of noun classes. And next person, please.
Consider the words in 5, 6, and 7 below.
Right, so consider the word in 5, 6, and 7 below. Hold on, please. And next person. Next person. Could you read case 5, please? Mm-hmm.
Obligation, occasion, indication, darkness, kindness, worldliness, lectureship, tutorship, citizenship.
Thank you. Next person. Case number 6, please.
Actors, doors, lamps, looms, tables.
Okay, good. Thank you. And next person, number 7, please.
Man, pop, sister.
Thank you. So now we have case 5, 6, and 7. Next person, please.
The items in 5 show that different words can have similar endings for suffixes as they are known in morphology.
Right. So the items in number 5 show that different words can have similar endings or suffixes as they are known in morphology. So here. So in case 5, the word shows that some of these vocabularies, they share similar endings. They share similar endings like uns, hood, shun, nis, and ship. And in terms of morphology, we call it as a suffix. So case number 5, they share some suffix. Okay? And next person, please.
Suffixes and the positional counterparts.
Prefixes.
Prefixes belong to the class of affixes.
So suffix and their positional counterpart prefixes belong to the class of affixes. So in morphology, we have affix. Affix includes suffix and prefix. Okay? And next person, please.
To return to 5, notice that all the words in the first set of 3 words have the suffix on.
So thus, to return to 5, notice all the words in the first set of 3 words have suffix uns. So here in case number 5, the first set of vocabulary, they share same suffix as uns. Okay? And next person, please.
The words of the second set fall and inherit, while those of the third, fourth, and fifth sets end in shun, nis, and ship, respectively.
Right. So the word of the second set all end in hood, while those of the third, fourth, and fifth set end in shun, nis, and ship, respectively. So in the second set vocabulary, we have hood as a suffix. Third set, we have shun, and fourth, we have nis, and fifth, we have ship. So words, nouns are the words who share the same suffixes sometimes. Okay? And next person, please.
These are only 5 of quite a number of typical noun endings.
These are only 5 of quite a number of typical noun endings. So noun classes, in terms of form, in terms of shape, we can say that some nouns, they share same suffix. And these uns and hood and shun, nis, and ship, they're typical suffix which represent a noun classes, we can say. So some other word like verb or adjectives, these classes, they don't share suffixes. It's only nouns. Sometimes they share same suffixes. Okay? And next person, please.
The point here is that sometimes by looking at the nature of words, we can tell to which word class they belong.
So the point here is that sometimes by looking at the morphological makeup of words, we can tell to which word class they belong. So sometimes by looking at the shape, by looking at the form, when we recognize some of the suffixes, we can tell that, oh, these are the nouns. These are noun classes. Because like I said before, some other words like adverb or conjunction, some other word classes, they don't share any suffixes. They don't have this kind of pattern.
Prefixes are also 접니다.
Oh, I'm sorry. Extremely good question. Wow. Wow, good. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Good. Oh, what is your name?
She told
Yes, I will.
my name is Kim Soyeon.
Kim Soyeon. And your name? Soyeon Nari. Excellent. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Excellent question. Oh, wow. Good. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Yes. Right. So some of the form of noun is that sometimes they share same ending. They share same suffixes. So by looking at the appearance, by looking at the form, we can recognize that these are the noun class, or by looking at some other type of shape, we can recognize verb, adjectives sometimes. And next person, please.
The word in 6 and 7 illustrate a similar point. In 6, we have plural endings indicating that we have more than one item of a kind, whereas in 7, we have genitive endings, which usually also not exclusively indicate position. The man's clothes, the pub's crying to my sister's cat.
Right. So the word in 6 and 7 illustrate a similar point. In 6, we have plural endings indicating we have more than one item of a kind, whereas in 7, we have genitive endings which usually, although not exclusively, indicating possessing. For example, a man's clothes, the pub's clientele, and my sister's cat. So for example, here, case of 6. In case of 6, we have S endings. We have S endings. So they symbolizes a plural form. So this is only the noun class. Only the noun class have S in order to symbolize a plural form. So when we look at the word, when we look at the vocabulary, and that vocabulary has S in order to symbolize the plural form, we can tell. We can recognize that, oh, these are also the noun classes. Only the noun classes can have S to symbolize the plural form. Not the verb, not the adjective, not the verb. No, they don't have S ending in order to symbolize the plural form. Also, we have apostrophe S ending in noun classes, and we call it as a genitive. Genitive ending. Again, only the noun classes. Only the nouns have apostrophe S in order to symbolize genitive ending, not other classes. So by looking at the form, by looking at the shape of S, or by looking at the suffixes, we can recognize, oh, sometimes they are the noun classes because they have suffix because they have s as a plural form, because they have s as a genitive ending. Okay? And next person.
Plural and genitive endings are also typical of nouns.
Right. So plural and genitive endings are also typical of nouns. So plural and genitive endings are also, they are the only typical of noun classes. And next person.
It turns out, however, the morphological criteria are only of limited value.
It turns out, however, that morphological criteria are only of limited value. So having a formal criteria, is not enough. It's not enough to define noun classes. We need more help. We need more criteria to completely define the noun classes. Okay? And next person.
For example, many nouns do not end in any of the typical nominal suffixes such as ans, hood, shun, nas, arm, rain, lamp. Some take an irregular plural ending: child, children, oxen.
So for example, many nouns don't end in any of the typical nominal suffixes such as uns, hood, iron, nis. For example, arm, book, rain, lamp. Some take an irregular plural ending like child, children, ox, and oxen. So here, the reason why just having a formal criteria is not enough is, for example, many noun classes share suffixes. However, there are many other nouns such as like arm, book, rain, and lamp. They are all noun classes. However, they don't share any suffixes. No, they just have individual shape. However, they are apparently a noun classes. So we need to take care of nouns like this. We need more criteria to explain why they belong to noun classes. Also, some of the typical plural ending of s represent that they are the noun classes. However, there's also exceptions, such as like child. Child, the plural form of child is not child, no. The plural form is children. They have different form for the plural. However, child still belong to the class of noun. Okay? Case of ox. Plural form of ox is not oxes, no. It's oxen is the plural form. But they still belong to the noun classes. So we need some more additional criteria that can explain why these are also the class of noun and why they are also the class of nouns. We need more additional criteria. Okay? And speaking of word, did I tell you dark joke?
Yeah.
Oh, why is dark spelled with K instead of C? Why? Right, you can see in the dark, right? Right, good. You cannot see in the dark. Good. There you go. Did I tell you which joke? Did I tell you which joke? No? You know which, right? Which? This is a witch, right? You know beach, right? In the summer, when it's too hot, you go to the ocean. You go to the beach to like swim, right? So what do we call a witch on the beach? Oh, exactly. Sandwich. Yes, which there are a lot of sand on the beach. Good. Good, good. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Good. And can you tell me what this is? Surf. Oh yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes, surfing, surfer, right? He is surfing, right? So we have tiny surfer. We have tiny, very small surfer. So what kind of wave does a tiny surfer ride? Surfer ride a wave. What kind of wave does a tiny surfer ride? Yes? Microwave. Microwave. Yes, good. Tiny surfer. Right, microwave. Good, good. Thank you. Microwave. And you guys know bug, right? Bug, like mosquitoes or ant, cockroaches, and dragonflies, all kinds of bugs. I have my favorite bug. You guys know what my favorite bug is? I have a favorite bug. Can you guess my favorite bug? My favorite bug is Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I love Starbucks. We in the weekend or in weekdays, we have a lot of days like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What is the best day for cooking? Friday. Oh, Friday, Friday. Oh, you guys remember, best day for cooking is Friday. Good, good, you remember. And you guys know spaghetti, right? You know spaghetti, right? Do you like spaghetti? So what is the movie title made by spaghetti? What is a movie title made by spaghetti? Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible. Last one. You know denim? Oh yes, denim. Oh, I already did. Okay. So Michael Jackson's Michael Jackson's denim store. Religion. Oh, good. You guys remember? Good. So let's do a little bit more. So sometimes like word like arm, book, rain, lamp, although they are noun, they don't belong to this. They don't share suffixes. And word like child and oxen, they don't express their plural form with s. So we need some other criteria that can explain this case and children and oxen cases. And continue. Next person, please.
Emotional and morphological criteria are inadequate, then it seems like what we have left are distributional criteria.
Right. So if semantic and morphological criteria are inadequate, then it seems that what we need to have left are distributional criteria. So this form is not enough criteria to cover all these noun classes. So we need to add more criteria, which is called as a distributional criteria. Okay? And next person, please.
As we will see, these are in fact the most reliable.
Right. So as we will see, these are in fact the most reliable. Distributional criteria is the most reliable criteria we can use to define each classes. And next person, please.
Remember that when we talk about distributional criteria, we're referring to the way English terms. In this particular case, we have sympathetically sentences, the pattern they typically occur in.
Right. So recall that when we talk about distributional criteria, we are referring to the way in which word in this particular cases, nouns, behave syntactically in sentences. For example, the pattern they typically occur in. So what I mean by distributional criteria is how the vocabularies behave inside the sentence. What kind of pattern does the noun have in the sentence? It is what I mean by distributional criteria. We will try to analyze what kind of pattern does the noun shows in the sentence and what kind of syntactic structure the noun has in the sentence to define the noun using a distributional criteria. And next person, please.
For example, we might observe that all the words we have labeled as nouns can be preceded by words such as the, this, that, those.
Right. So, for example, we might observe all the words we have labeled as noun can be preceded by words such as the, this, that, etc. So, for example, when we take a look at English sentences in general, we can find that in case of noun, they are preceded by the word like the, this, or that. So we can find the pattern. The word like the, this, and that, they tend to come in front of noun classes. We can find this syntactic pattern from the sentence, and
These words belong to the class of determinatives, which specify more precisely the meaning of the nouns they precede.
So these words belong to the class of determinatives, which specify more precisely the meaning of the noun they precede. So for example, the, this, that, they all come in front of noun, and we can call this group as the determinatives. And determinatives, what they do is they specify the meaning of noun. For example, we have a noun such as like an apple. Okay? We have noun as an apple. So here, which apple we're talking about? We're in the world with so many apples. Which apple are we talking about? So in this case, if we add a determinative in front of this noun, we are talking about this one particular apple, not just all the other apple in the world. We're talking about an apple here. So the determinative A, it specifies the meaning of apple, not just any apple. It only refers to that particular apple. So that's the function of determinatives. Okay? And next person.
In table
3.1.
3.1 below, you will find a list of the most common determinatives in English.
Right. So in the table 3.1 below, you will find the list of the most common determinative in English. So here on the below here we have table 3.1 here in the below. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is the first example of determinative in the table 3.1? What is the first example of determinative? Exactly. And the, right? And the. Put and the is the first example of determinative. So for example, like a camera, the door. So and the function as determinatives. And next person, please.
We will see presently that when they occur independently, some of the words in table 8.1 belong to the class of pronouns.
We'll see presently that when they occur independently, some of the words in table 3.1 belong to the class of pronouns. So here, can anyone tell me what are the examples of second determinatives? What are the examples of second determinatives? Yes, these and these and these. Okay, good, thank you. So here the second example of determinative is these film and these films. So here, they are used as dependently. The determinative here, this and this, they are depending on the nouns. So this depend on film and these depend on films. Okay, so they are used dependently. And here, we have same this. Okay, we have same this. In this case, however, this is used as independently. Unlike this here, this in the table used as dependently. This is depending on the noun, film. However, this is an apple, this is used as independently. It doesn't depend on anywhere. In that case, determiners, they can be used as pronoun. So in summary, we talked about the noun class today, okay? And also we talked about determiners class. So from now on, we are going to use formal distribution and formal criteria and distributional criteria in order to define other 8 classes. And the determiners function is they usually come in front of noun, and determiner specify the name of the nouns. Sometimes when determiners used as independently, they become a pronoun. Okay, that's the brief summary of what we covered today. Everybody did a good job, and we'll stop here. We'll continue our lesson next time. Good job, everybody. And if you have a question, ask me a question, please. Okay, good job.